Today is going to arguably be a time where this deck might get a lot of hate, mainly because of my thumbnail choice. Full Metal Alchemist jokes aside, there are a lot of hilarious combos that can happen with this deck, and with the help of Digimon Card Game Online, this definitely helped me practice my sequencing and timings. I'm not saying this deck is the best deck of all time, but seriously, when sequencing effects, it definitely helped me learn. For level 2s, I run Nyaromon. No, not the yellow one from BT2 or BT15, but the starter deck Nyaromon. This purple egg has a when attacking effect that while you have a yellow Digimon in play, draw one. Whether the stack itself has yellow or you've played a Salamon via Yolei and Kari, everybody wins. I had tried BT15 Nyaromon, but trashing security from top or bottom created a sense of randomness that wasn't ever quite consistent. And while true hawkmon can't digivolve off of this egg, I honestly didn't care after a lot of testing. The fact that he can be repeatedly played with Yolei and Kari's effect meant more searching. To the level 3s, this went through so many revisions. First off, you have EX3 veemon, a red Digimon that can digivolve from red or purple, and on play, trashes one card with Imperialdramon or the free trait to draw 2. Considering a lot of your deck is free trait, this lets you cycle pieces, whether it be Hawkmon, Aquilamon, Shadramon, Silphymon, Dinobeemon, and Valkyrimon. The DP buff is also fantastic at higher levels, with a potential 3000 DP reduction with Gatomon and the Inheritable. Hawkmons, as mentioned, are utilized only at 3 copies because they can't digivolve off the level 2s, but that's why out of all of your cards, the rest of them pretty much cross appropriately. This Digimon can search for any red or yellow card with 2 colors, and 1 tamer with Yolei in its name, meaning broad spectrum search, and it can pretty much add every card in the deck except your rookies and single Kari Kamiya. Salamon from the Mastemon starter deck for that end of turn DNA, and lastly Salamon from BT16, which can digivolve itself or another one of your Digimon into a Holy Beast Digimon or free trade Digimon from the trash for a reduced cost of 1. This card can set up your board state very quickly. No floodgates here of any kind, considering they don't really mesh with anything. While I did mention in the set review that your hand can be awkward, while true, this variant can cycle like crazy. Level 4s, you run the single copy of geogreymon for playing a tamer from your security for free, then recover 1. But for the rest, you largely keep things in the gatomon family and free trade Digimon. First up, Shadramon provides you a way to play back out your veemons for free, letting you cycle more cards in your deck and giving you a red or purple element when it comes to DNA digivolving. Because it can digivolve from generically red or purple, its only dead target is on the starter deck Salamon. But that's okay, because you have Aquilamon and Gatomon who can go that route. BT16 Aquilamon was selected over any of the other Aquilamons due to the fact that it has 2 colors. Otherwise, you'd bottom deck the BT8 and even the BT13 variant. Gatomon does a lot of work in this build considering you can manipulate your trash into a very interesting combo, which I'll go over at the end of the video. And of course, blackgatomons for simple rush elements and inheritable retaliation. While I had tested with the starter deck Gatomons, ultimately I found them as mainly big searchers when they were played out via partition. However, the issue stemmed with the fact that its reduction effect was never going to go off, since there were no Archangels or Fallen Angels in the level 5 category. Instead, they're all DNA Digivolve Digimon. One other substitute to consider could be Harpymon, but in general I just wasn't a fan, and with less Hawkmons in this build, it's always going to be a 3-cost Digivolution. For the namesake and joke of this video, the entire level 5 lineup is just Dinobeemon and Silphymon. Both of these cards play very nice roles in the deck considering Silphymon can control the board, and Dinobeemon can create aggro board states. Both Digimon have partition, Silphymon red and yellow, and Dinobeemon red and purple. But because so many of your lines have both colors intermixed, it's fairly easy to have the colors you need. Dinobeemon has the ability to, when DNA digivolving, play 1 level 5 or lower Digimon with the free trait from trash without paying cost. Then one of your Digimon may gain rush for the end of the turn and attack a player. Considering you could spawn Aquilamon for a jamming chip damage, or even give Dinobeemon itself the rush and attack a player effect, it could be a game ender. But there's another fun reason why I like to run Dinobeemon in this build. Level 6 wise, you have a wide variety of arsenal. While you could run Venusmon, because I'm actually in a red-purple top end, I abdicated for the other fun techs. Zhuqiaomon Ace, the Bird Sovereign, can create control and pressure against smaller decks that leave bodies out on the board every turn, and give you that extra buff. With veemon buffing zhuqiaomon to 14,000 DP, this can be a deadly 2 checks every turn. But the primary, of course, is going to go to Valkyrimon Ace for the fact that it is the best Ace Digimon in the format. Considering 1 check from any other deck other than Magnemon X, you can guarantee almost delete something even with Armor Purge on the turn that it was Blast Digivolved into. But the fun techs go to the starter deck Mastemon. Remember how Dinobeemon can spawn a level 5 or lower Digimon with the free trait? Silphymon is another candidate that can be spawned. Meaning after doing checks with Silphymon, Dinobeemon, you can DNA Digivolve and make Mastemon spawn out, say, blackgatomon for 2 more checks right there. For level 7s, you could honestly run Ruin mode if you wanted to. You could run Death-Xmon if you wanted to. For me, I was memeing in my testing with ordinemon. You could disregard these altogether and just add more removal into the deck. But is it funny having an 18 Digivolution stack ordinemon? Absolutely. In wider building board games, this can mean increased security recovery. But is it necessary? Not at all. Option card wise, this deck runs 2 Beastly Storm of Affections, a red-yellow option card that is convenient to play once you get Yolei and Kari out. This option lets you play aquilamon or gatomon from hand without paying cost, and then you immediately get to DNA Digivolve and attack a player with a security check +1. Keep in mind that when you do use this to play your aquilamon or gatomons at resolution of the effect, if they've been DNA Digivolved with, they will not get their on-play effects. This was a tricky situation to understand for me, as this was why I primarily dropped the starter deck gatomons for this reason. This in essence makes playing your level 4's 3 cost. But again, if you wanted to add other option card removal, Longkey Adistocto and Chaos Degradation are wonderful options, even at 2 of. Finally, your tamers look very similar to the Imperial Dramon deck with 4 copies of Yolei and Kari, and 1 copy of BT8 Kari Kamiya. BT8 Kari Kamiya acts as the memory fixer, while the other 4 are your primary copies to do the work you need to do. These tamers can play Hawkmon or Salamon, but at the end of your opponent's turn, the Digimon returns to your hand. Be careful of Digivolving in case you can't find all your pieces, because then the level 4 returns, not the level 3. But when you DNA Digivolve, you can suspend this tamer to gain 1 memory and also do a 3000 DP reduction on a Digimon. If you didn't and you just Digivolve, you can suspend them to gain 1 memory. Combo-wise, remember how Gatomon can manipulate your trash? Well, at times, you may pitch Silphymon to the trash because you're DNA Digivolving into Dinobeemon. One awesome thing about this combo is that you can DNA into Dinobeemon, regain memory via Yolei and Kari, and then maintain turn by playing out Silphymon and attacking the security with Rush. Because of Yolei and Kari, you can DP reduce a Digimon by 3000 DP. Meaning if they had initially 7000 DP, Silphymon can delete the target before they can even Blast Digivolve. Dinobeemon could also get a check as well before you DNA the stack into Mastemon and go for another aggressive check. In some hilarious situations, I've had moments where the Dinobeemon stack was removed via card effect, meaning playing out the Gatomon I could pitch a card and do it again. Against Jumbo Control, there were times when an option card like Full Moon Meteor Impact would send the DNA Digimon back to hand, and then Partition would play them back out. Oh look, I'll just do it again. One important ruling I have is if 2 Digimon have the end of turn DNA effect. If they're both used to DNA into a Digimon, you waste one of their effects. However, if you are able to DNA with another Digimon separately first, you can utilize the second instance of DNA at the same time once all the other effects have resolved. Generally, again, I'm not saying that this is the best deck of the format to take to an event or a local. But when it comes to cooking, I'm definitely cooking a lot more unique builds than just playing the same old decks that you've probably been seeing. What were your thoughts on this build? And what do you want to see next? Let me know in the comments, and as always, thank you so much for your support. This is Digi-Panda, logging out.